This is the Random Outdoorsman.
What's up YouTube, the Random Outdoorsman is back, and today we're going to be making some like apocalyptic type weapons with just some scrap stuff you can get. So I'm down here at my like a little garage sale building type thing, and they have like lawnmower blades here and circular saw blades and all kinds of stuff like that for really cheap. So Steven doesn't know I'm getting this stuff. He doesn't know we're doing this. He's coming over tomorrow. So this is going to be pretty cool. Alright, so this is just some of their lawnmower blades they have. They've got like a couple more buckets all over the place. But I've managed to find a couple cool ones. This is for a weed eater, but obviously I have different ideas. This one just looks really neat. Like, I think if I made a hatchet, or sorry, not a hatchet, machete out of this, that would look really cool. And then this is basically just a big straight hunk of steel. So I think that these are going to work out well. I might get one more to use for something else. I got to find out how much they cost though. Okay, so I just found out that these lawnmower blades are only $1 each, so I'm going to be getting a couple of these, and I just found a couple more weed eater attachments here. So yeah, I'm going to get quite a few of these, like 10. Alright, so I ended up getting, as you see, 6 of these cool different lawnmower blades, and that right there, the weed eater head attachment. So I think for this one, we're going to do just a cool machete because of how that looks. This one maybe turn it into a spearhead. These are just big, thick pieces of steel. I mean, they're really nice, like 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch. Then this one, I don't know, that just might be like a fantasy looking sword. And then this, I'm going to see if I can pound this flat and put that on it like a tomahawk head. I don't know how this is going to work. Steven! Finally! Alright. So Steven has no idea what's going on here, except a little bit. So come in here. Check out what we've got.
Ooh, weapons. I like weapons.
They are lawnmower blades.
Still weapons.
That weed eater head is what you're really going to be concerned about.
Okay.
But when you're looking at these, I know what you're thinking. Are you ready to do some savage stuff?
Yes.
Let's do it. Right, so what we've got going on, we're going to start out with making a spearhead. You see I have that piece of metal clamped down over there. I'm going to be using the die grinder here while Steven is drawing out one of our next projects on that piece of metal in the middle. He's not going to be right there when I'm doing the die grinding.
No.
I don't want to spray sparks on Steven. So he's going to be drawing the handle out for that while I'm cutting the spearhead. What we've got planned today is we're going to have a giant throwing star, a spearhead, a machete made out of that thing, and then one more machete. And then our final project is going to be a flail. You'll see how we do that using only lawnmower blades, some chain, and a stick. But for now, I'm just going to get the time lapse on me cutting out this. Alright, so I got the spearhead cut. Pretty much wore through a whole blade. I think it was kind of a cheap blade, though. So, obviously it's still hot. But that's our rough cut spearhead there. Okay, well I got the spearhead pretty much done. You see, it's so hot. Okay. I got it trimmed down, roughed this up a little bit for where I put the glue in the stick. It's the only reason I did that. I'm not going for perfection on the spearhead, as you can tell, but it's turned out pretty well. I think now we're going to go on to something else. I think the throwing star next. That's going to be cool. As you see, this has turned out extremely well so far. I'm going to just taper down one edge of this with the grinder, and then hopefully this will be finished. This turned out really awesome. I ended up getting I put just a tiny bit of a taper on it, just because I didn't feel like putting a full thing. But this thing, it sticks. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I got a couple of these scrap pieces here. I'm just basically going to cut them across. These are going to be used for the flail. Got two of these cut off. I'm not going to show the other one because it's hot. I can't hold it. But I was standing there and I realized something, which is there were 4 identical scraps left over from the throwing star. And all of these are like exactly identical. And I only messed up one of them. So I looked and I noticed there's already a beveled edge on every one of these. These look just like batarangs. I'm going to turn them into batarangs, with the exclusion of this one because it's all cut up. But I think that's pretty weird. It ended up that I cut right along that cut line. Got those 4 done. Here's one of them. You see you got the bevel on both sides there. This is the one that got messed up, and so I'm just going to do a tip test with this to see how the actual throwing star is going to hold up. So the tip is good. You see it there. Let's drop it one more time for good measure. Let's see. Good. Okay. How much did it bend? Okay. It flattened. That's just the tiniest bit of flattening. I know that's the concrete ink because it has a tiny bit of concrete dust there. That's good. It barely bent, dropping on concrete. So I'm not going to do any more destruction tests. Actually, I am. I'm going to hit it with a hammer. The hammer barely dulled that little tip there. You see that? I mean, this is made for a weed eater. It's supposed to be spinning very fast on the end of a weed eater, obviously, hitting bushes and rocks and stuff. So that's probably why it's okay. But it's cool we have a couple of these. I'll sharpen this one back up. But that's all for the throwing stars. Okay. We were looking around in here, and Steven found a couple really cool things. Like, he found some files we can make into throwing spikes, and some chain that we need for something. And then I found this little, like, plunger handle, which don't ask me what I'm going to use that for. Okay, I'm going to make a spear out of it. And then all I did was just look up on this shelf here. And I thought it was a baseball bat. But instead of being a baseball bat, in this little garage sale thing, wrapped in bubble wrap, is the Cold Steel Special Forces shovel. And it's fully intact. And it's $5. Steven's very unhappy right now. Yeah, because I found it right. I called it right before he found it. There's gotta be another one in here somewhere. This is, I don't know who would put this. I'm serious, $5. I don't know who would put this for $5. It's mine now. We ended up finding way more stuff. So we got some chain for the flail. We got this leather pouch. It was only 50 cents. This is just going to wrap some of our handles. We got some little clamps here for the spear. A bunch of files. We're going to make throwing spikes out of these. A lead pipe. Might not be lead, probably steel. Not completely sure what we're going to do with that yet. And then this big file. I think we're going to make a knife out of this. Might not be able to do all of that today. And then, obviously, the Special Forces shovel. Steven is so mad that I found this, and it was only $5. This is proof. Special Forces from Cold Steel. This thing's awesome. Steven, I'm sorry I found it before you did. So, that's all of the stuff we got. Oh, and we got this big pole. I think this was supposed to be like a tulip or something. It's going to be a spear now. So, let's get on making a spear.
making it look pretty.
Yeah.
It's even got a flower right there.
It's not a flower, it's a star.
It's a flower.
Alright, so this is actually looking pretty well fit. Now we got some of those little tightening little clamps, screw clamps, to put around this. We're going to get that done. So as you see, we got the spear done. I put some glue in there. That will dry eventually, and then just wrapped it. Got these cuffs on there. I know we could have used like a metal collar, but these were the cheapest and fastest way to go. So this is what I got. Spear is nice and sharp. Don't think we'll be doing much testing today, but this thing's still just awesome. It's a good length too. Alright. Alright, we got done with the spear. Didn't turn out exactly right. We used 2 of these braces, but then I just tried to drill a hole through it so we could put a screw, kind of like with a rake or shovel, but things got messed up. So I used zip tie technique. It's not going to break the zip ties, and it's glue. The glue is drying in there, and we got these things. So this is fine, and I threw it, and it works fine. I'll probably do a demonstration after everything. So now we're taking this big thing, and I know there's a lot of lines on there. It's the innermost, cutting this into a cool axe machete. Okay, so I just got done with this, and as you see, it sharpened up well. This metal seems to be very strong. The edge is not really rolling over. It is a little bit, but as you see, it's okay on the sharpometer there. So it's really weird because it's just a little bit curved here at the handle, and then obviously here, but it feels really nice. It's called the Atomic Blade for whatever mower it was. Anyway, this is pretty amazing. So Steven has actually been over there working on something. We got a big file down at that garage sale place, and look what Steven's been over here doing. He's been turning this old rasp. It still has little lines, but they don't do anything, into a big throwing spike.
Slash neck knife if I can find a way to get a piece of string mounted to it.
Yeah,
I don't just like flatten these out.
I love your fantasies sometimes, Steven. So we have a lot done. I think we're going to try to go for the flail next. What do you think?
Yeah, we gotta finish this first.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and get that done. All right. So now we're about to make the flail. I got here everything we need. So these are going to be the metal pieces that make up the flail. Got the little bolt for that. Got the washer and nut. This is going to go through this metal rod. And then here's the chain. Just probably all we're going to need is just the drill press. Let's get it done. YouTube, well, we got the flail done. After I drilled the holes, pretty much all I did was just attach the chain with some bolts. This is pretty gnarly. I mean, we got like a steel pipe here with some chain and 3 pieces of metal. It's heavy, but it's absolutely perfect for whatever you might need to do with it. Steven's over here making a little dirt out of a file.
It's been hard at work on the living fire. But it's going to end up pretty nice. Now coming over here, I've been slicing this into strips. This is that little leather bag, because I'm going to wrap that knife with it. You can't see it. Here's the knife. Here's my leather strips. Just going to wrap this up. Alright, so Steven's over there working on a knife, and he actually just got done making this. This is kind of like a throwing spike. He made it out of an old raft. It's really nice. I didn't get a video of that because he was making it while I was recording something else. I got this handle wrapped with leather, like I just said. Had wrapped with electrical tape too, but it's really nice, kind of cushiony. You see, we're already throwing it out there. So I think we're actually going to go ahead and make another spear. So we'll jump to that right now. Before we were going to make the other spear, Steven got done with this little knife thing here. He made it out of a file.
It looks savage.
It does look savage. So I said, well, wait, we got some of this leftover leather. So I took two pieces and cut them and then taped them together, and then took a small strip of leather and taped it to the bottom so it wouldn't poke through, then wrapped it up securely. So now we have a wonderful little knife sheath. Perfect, so Steven doesn't get stabbed when he puts it in his pocket.
Yep.
There you
gotta
go.
get the belt loop made for it. But
Conveniently,
perfect.
Conveniently located nowhere. Alright. This does more than just cut stuff. It also opens coke. Alright, so we're about to make some throwing spikes out of these 3 identical rasps we have here. Steven already did one with that, so he's probably going to be a little bit faster at it than I am. But I just wanted to get a video of this. Oh, we got these 3 done, and then I cut off the back end there, so you see they're nice and shiny and pointy. And we could put a tail on these and make them like no spin, but Steven just likes them as sharp pegs. He really likes this kind of throwing weapon. So we only that's hot. Ow. So we only have one more thing to make. We have to cut out the other like apocalypse machete, and then we test all the things for part 2, because this is going to be part 1, because I didn't realize how long this video would turn out. So I was making it's going to be part 1, and then the throwing them and testing them is part 2. So, on to the machete making. Right, so as you see, we got this done. Steven wrapped it in some digital camo duct tape. It pretty much ended up like the other one, just a little bit different blade. So that's all for today's video. We were going to do a separate testing video, but we tried, and it was super boring. We were just basically throwing things at wood and the fading light of the sun. So I'll tell you that the spear works out exactly like any spear should. The throwing star, the big one, works out really well against wood. We were throwing these at wood. The little Batarang type things, they also work well if you throw them very hard and they hit on the spike. The spikes don't really work against wood. Not at all. The flail here, it ended up breaking. We broke some big pieces of wood with it.
Yes.
And then broke them off from each other, and then it broke. So just get some little bit higher quality chain if you make this. And then Steven's little knife here, He didn't really throw it much, but it did stick pretty well when he did. And then, of course, the lawnmower blade machete type things, they chopped very well. Mine got a little dent because I hit right on a screw when I was chopping on something. But as you see, that's a very, very tiny dent. So, and then the cold steel shovel. We didn't make this, obviously, but it's awesome. So, that's all for today's video. Like I said, sorry, no test video. It was just pretty boring. We will be having a video probably involving the throwing star, and then we testing this cold steel shovel. So, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you thought.
Happy trails.
Happy trails.